welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to quickly break down how one of our creators who was stuck at around 7 to 10k a month mark was able to break past that and consistently hit 20 plus k. Again, this is my real inflow. You can't fake these kind of stats. So I'm going to break down, here I am. I'm going to break down exactly how we did this. But first of all, let's break down who is this video actually for. This video is for you if you're stuck under 10k a month on OnlyFans and you can't figure out why. And in this video, you're gonna see the real reasons this model's account was capped. It's not what she thought. The exact fixes we made, front end and back end, and what happens to her numbers after, and also what to check in your own account before you watch your next reel on your feed. So let's get straight into it. Again, I can go back here, show you all the proof. This is the creator we are breaking down. She joined us at around November time, as you can see, from 8k consistently for the past couple of months before us. She smashed past 20k and never went down that, below 20k again. So let's get into it. First of all, it wasn't just one thing, right? She thought it was like Instagram. It wasn't just that. It was her content, her funnel, her chatting, all underperforming at the same time, and none of them were broken enough on their own to notice. Like, it wasn't something that was like groundbreaking by itself. It was just together, it just completely capped her. So the first thing that I want you guys to understand is that every OnlyFans business has two sides. It has the front end and it has the back end. The front end is the social media side, getting eyeballs in, bringing in traffic essentially. And then the back end is everything after that. The actual OF page itself, the funnel, the chats, the actual sales, right? So there's only ever two possible problems. It's either you're not getting in enough eyeballs, right? Your traffic, your marketing isn't good enough, or you are getting traffic in and you're just not converting those eyeballs that you already have, right? So like your chat team, your optimization, the back end side isn't good enough. And most creators don't even know which ones they have. They just know something is capped. They just know something's up. You can probably, if you're an OF creator watching this yourself and you're in this position, you know something is up, you just don't know what. And this creator, she had a little bit of both. So let's break it down a little bit. But before we get into that, actually, let's talk about why she couldn't see this herself. Well, to put it simply, she just wasn't tracking any of it. She was just going off her feelings, right? I feel like Instagram isn't working, but there was no data that was actually backing it. There was no data behind it. And not to be all Hormozy here, but if you don't track, you don't care, right? You're never going to know what's actually wrong if you don't track anything. You're just guessing. So the next question is, what do we actually track? Now, these are the few things that we tracked for this creator, which was click to sub, right? So how many people who click your link actually subscribe? LTV, right? What each fan is worth over time, not just per sale. Again, LTV just means lifetime value per fan, which is super important to know. And then we also track median views per content style, not just overall views, but per type of video. So let's say if you have 3 content verticals, you have Omegle, you have street interviews, and then you have public skits. Those are 3 different styles of content. We track the median views per style. And then once we've done that, we find the highest leverage things to fix. So if I was to go back here, to go from where we are, to go from 8k, hopefully you can see this, right? To go from 8k to, is this the right creator? Hold on, what's happened here? Okay, we are here. Okay, so to go from 8k, right, to 21k, that is a big fix, right? That's a big change to like nearly 3x your income, to 3x what you're doing right now. It doesn't happen overnight. But to do that, you have to be making sure you are doing the highest leverage things possible, not just a random checklist. Okay, so now we understand that, right? These are the things that we actually found that was wrong with this specific creator. On the front end side, she just wasn't posting enough, right? Posting 3 times a day for 30 days gives you 60 real shots at going viral. You have to understand, right? She wasn't even posting like once a day. She was posting like every other day. Look at every single post on social media like it's a potential. It's not a potential. It's a shot on target or a shot at goal, a shot at going viral. So the more times you shoot, the more chances you're probably going to score. She wasn't posting daily. Again, some days nothing at all. It's really hard to blame her. This isn't like something that is like, wrong with her. She was just doing everything. She was doing the chatting. She was actually running the page, thinking of the ideas and everything else. I'm not surprised she didn't have time to post 3 times a day. Okay. And then the back end side, So again, this is the front end side. It's pretty like simple, but there's a lot more detail from the marketing perspective. But I don't want this video to be 3 hours long, so I'm just going to break it down very quickly. But so this was the front end side. She just wasn't posting enough, and the content that she was posting wasn't actually the content that was good enough to get the eyeballs that we needed. We also fixed that, but this was the main problem, which is just posting good quality content consistently at a high volume. The back end, right? So this is one of the things that was wrong with the back end. The funnel was leaking, right? So think of your funnel like water running down a pipe. If the pipe has holes in it, the water is just never going to reach the end. And her link in her bio was the hole. Okay, so your link in your bio, if you're an OF creator, is your funnel. But what this creator was doing wrong is the link that she had in her bio had so many other links in it. She had the OnlyFans link, the Twitter, her TikTok, her Snapchat, all on that one landing page, right? Every extra link is just friction. You're handing someone options instead of just giving them a decision. So we stripped it all back to one link, straight to OnlyFans, fully compliant. It doesn't get you banned on Meta. We use Get My Socials. Let me move my face so you can see. These are some of the stats from Get My Socials link. I recommend you guys use the same. But why this is important is because her click to sub went from 1% to 2.5%. Same traffic, but that's more than double the subs. So the reason why this is super high leverage is because just by us changing the link in her bio and making sure it's all safe and good to use, she's more than doubled her subs from doing nothing extra. Okay, this is why this is super important and super, again, if I was to go back, high leverage. We want to be doing stuff that we want to be doing the actions that bring us the most back for our time. Okay, and this is huge. If you can just change the link in your bio and more than double the subs you've got, there's nothing that gets more high leverage than that. Another thing to understand with the back end side is why fans actually leave, right? So this is more of the psychology aspect of this. You have to understand that these fans aren't only subscribed to you, they're subscribed to hundreds of other creators. So the real question is, why would they stay on your page instead of someone else's? Well, for this creator, what she marketed on her socials has to match what's actually on the OF page, right? If you sell one thing and deliver another, people will notice, okay? This is a mismatch alone that is quietly killing sales before you like even like realize, okay? So for example, this creator, she markets herself as a MILF online, right? That's her niche on socials. So we need to continue that on to the OnlyFans page. If she's a MILF online, but someone subscribes and then on the OF feed they're just seeing like girl next door or something that's completely random away from the MILF niche, you are secretly killing your fans before they've even messaged you, okay? Because then they are on your OF page for one thing and you're trying to give them something else. So we need to continue the full brand from her socials onto her actual OF page. Excuse me. And another thing with the back end, this is where 80% of your money actually is. Okay, 80% of the money is made in the DMs. And she never actually had a real chatting team before. So we built one that runs 24/7, not spamming fans, but actually building relationships. And then when we found her biggest spenders, otherwise known as whales, we treated them completely differently, gave them way more attention, made sure that every single fan, we had an actual relationship with them, not just like spamming them, sending them mass messages every couple of hours, because that is the biggest way to burn your fans. So let's talk about this, right? This is when this happened. This is the month it broke. She finally was able to break past the 10K mark and consistently hit 20K plus, right? Again, her money nearly tripled in 1 month, but however, this is just a screenshot. It doesn't really prove much. Let me go into it in a little more detail. The more important thing to understand is why it didn't just snap back. Like I said, I can show you this again, okay? When she joined us was at around November time. She's not once dropped below 20K, right? She's been on an increase the whole time. And this is super important because anyone can just have one good month and it might drop back down. What kept it going is a team that was tracking everything all the time. And this is important because every decision becomes backed by data and not just feelings. We're not making decisions because we feel like this is the right move. We're making decisions because we are 100% confident at the data and what the data are showing us. And this is why you pay for a team, not just a service, okay? And a good analogy for this is if you picture the best football player in the world playing alone against 11 other players, okay? So you have 1 versus 11. no matter how good that one person is, that person is going to get outworked. Not because the other team is just better individuals, but because more people equals more volume. And this is why creators working alone hit a ceiling no matter how talented you are, right? Our operations team is like the glue that keeps the marketing department and the chatting department together. So editors, schedulers, posters, a marketing manager doing weekly audits, right? Every week, the plan is updated based on the actual numbers. And then let me move my face again. You have a 24/7 support, right? You have a full group of, you're in a group full of problem solvers, not just one person trying to carry it all. This is why all this matters, okay? Moving on. There was actually a month. So in December, this creator, she actually made like zero content. However, she still was smashing past 20K. As you can imagine, December is usually a time of the year where you don't really want to be making a lot of OF content or working hard at all. You just want to be chilling with your family and having a good time. However, our systems actually allowed our creator to have a good time in December and not having to worry about her account because we already had everything dialed in after 1 month. And then the month she actually decided to lock back in, she's up in the 30s, which is insane. Again, this is super important to highlight. 7 consecutive months, never below 20K. And before, she couldn't even hit 20K once, right? This isn't luck. This is just a few real things, right? Tracked and fixed, stacked on top of each other. This is what happens when you actually have a team that will look into the proper things, make database decisions, and make sure everything's just running the way it should be with proper systems. So if this is you, right? If this feels like it's very similar to your current situation, and your money's just been bouncing around instead of steadily growing or at a stage where you're content and happy with, message me audit on Instagram and me or a member of my team will do a full account audit for you for completely free. My Instagram is here, J Dillon. If you've agreed with anything I've said or if any of this sounds like this would help you, feel free to message me the word audit and me and a member of my team will do a full account audit for you completely free. That is all for this video. I hope it's helped. See you in the next one.